Hey, y'all. Look, thank you for joining us again today at the Haven for Soul Care, the podcast. I'm your host, Brianna. I'm excited today. We have a special guest, Diane Gilman, who, when I tell you, she has changed my life. There are very few guests who can do that, and she has really changed my life. And look, y'all, she is someone that will inspire you to continue to go on because she was faced with so many obstacles. She was faced with so many no's. She was faced with so many walls. She was faced with things that you and I are facing right now. And she never let anything stop her. Today's interview is going to bless you. I want you to stop what you're doing and I want you to take the time to share this episode. Share it on your social media platforms. I want you to text it to somebody. I want you to grab a pen, get a notebook, and I want you to take notes. I want you to really take some nuggets from this episode because when I tell you that this lady is a woman who is full of grace, but she is a woman who is unstoppable. She has paved a path for each and every one of us on here today. So I want you to take the time and share. I want you to write in. Let me know what you thought. Let me know how she has inspired you on today. I want you to leave a voice note. I want you to email at Brianna Hedden at iCloud.com. And I really want to hear from you on today because this episode really has blessed me. It has made me look at things a little different because we all know that times are not looking as bright as they once was. But if Diane can do it during the times that she was doing the things, and you're going to hear it in the interview. I don't want to give it away, but if she can do it, we can too. There's nothing that cannot stop us, that can stop us. And so I don't want to delay the time no more. Take the time, like, share, subscribe if you haven't already. I want you to leave your comments. I want you to email Brianna Hedden at iCloud.com. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know how she has inspired you. And so we're going to jump right into the interview. And here it is. So Diane, I thank you for joining us on today. I'm excited. When I was sent over your bio and I got to read through all your stuff, I was simply inspired and amazed.
Thank you.
One of the things that you do, I actually am inspiring and have been contemplating over years. Since a little girl, I have always designed clothes. And when I read through your bio and I said, oh my gosh, are you serious? You're a fashion designer. So I'm excited to hear about more of your story. I'm excited for the audience to hear more about you. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to you for you to introduce yourself and just to tell us about who you are and the fabulous woman that you are.
Well, it never hurts to talk about yourself. Everybody loves that. So thank you for that.
You're welcome.
I was a little girl born to immigrant parents from Ukraine and Poland. I was born in 1945. And from the time I could pick up a crayon and draw, the first thing I drew was a stick figure with wild hair and put a pyramid dress and punched in polka dots. Mm-hmm. And I was literally obsessed with fashion. But the fascinating thing is in 1945, 1950, 1955, 1960 even, there was no fast fashion. There was no mass-produced fashion. And women, believe it or not, when you think about it, were not fashion designers, apart from one, Chanel. Mm-hmm. So my parents were horrified. I mean, I was first generation American. What you did was you went to college, but you really went to college to find a husband. Had to be a doctor or a lawyer, and that guy was going to take care of you the rest of your life. That was absolutely the furthest thing from my mind. Mm-hmm. So we get to 1960, I'm 15, and things start changing. By the time I graduate from high school in 1963, the landscape is exploding. Music, talent, makeup, fashion, hairdos, everything is different. And, I think parents of children during that era, where there was such a massive social shift, were just horrified. My mother, in my first couple of years of high school, would take this little teeny iron, put it on the stove, heat it up, and give me Mamie Eisenhower bangs every morning. And I would walk into school, go immediately to the ladies' room, and wash my hair out under the sink. I mean, you were expected to dress like your elders.
Mm-hmm.
And up until that point, we truly had no choice. So I get accepted to UCLA. I really don't want to go there. I really want to go to a fashion school, but okay. And literally the first week I'm at UCLA, I start meeting a whole new circle of friends. One day, a guy walks up to me and says, "Hey, want to go to London? My girlfriend split on me. I've got this non-refundable ticket." And I thought, yeah, even though it's the first semester of college, which doesn't look particularly good, but I did it against my parents who were foaming at the mouth. And I spent 6 months in swinging London, Carnaby Street, Mary Quant, Biba. I mean, it was awesome. It was a revolution. I came back. I was very dissatisfied. I mean, UCLA, I'm sure it's a great school if you want a classic education, but they had no fashion curriculum. Bottom line, friend of mine who also was fascinated with fashion and went on to design costumes for many famous movies like the original Carrie, Dress to Kill, Phantom of the Opera, the whole Thor dynasty movies. She said, "Let's open a store." Which is like, it's so illogical. But I worked all the time, so I saved money, and we opened a store and we named it "I'm a Hog for You, Baby," because we researched. There was no Google, of course, at that time. It was about 1965. That was supposed to be the first rock and roll song ever recorded. "I'm a Hog for You, Baby." I still to this day have not heard "I'm a Hog for You, Baby." So we're in the store. We sew all our own dresses. We design all our own dresses. We make all the patterns. And one day, a white Rolls Royce pulls up. And oh, by the way, "I'm a Hog for You, Baby" is directly across the street from Cass's Delicatessen, where all the celebrities go to get their pastrami sandwiches. Mm-hmm. So out comes Sonny Bono, and he wants a pastrami sandwich, and he's screaming something at Cher. Mm-hmm. And Cher's saying, "I'm not eating that." And then she spots our little store, which we painted like acid yellow. I'm sure we painted it acid yellow because it was the cheapest paint in the paint store. And she comes walking in. She circles all the way around. She says nothing. She's beautiful. And she walks out, and we're like, "Oh, yeah." And then she screams, "Sonny, get here." And he and the chauffeur for the beautiful white Rolls Royce come into the store and just take the racks and bring them out and throw all the dresses in the back seat and the trunk of the Rolls. And that's how it all started. And then I had one other experience too. But what really happened was for music celebrities, and I'll tell you how I got there besides Cher, I was fascinated with denim because the only thing I could take at UCLA was a fine arts curriculum. So oil painting, blah, blah, blah. I loved taking a ready-made denim jacket and hand painting it with oil paints, which were washable. Slashing it, ripping it, jeweling it, patching it. So I had a boyfriend. Well, it didn't hurt either that my BFF, who I opened the store with, Rosanna Norton, her boyfriend just happened to be the lead singer for The Doors, Jim Morrison. But I also was going out with a record agent from RCA. So one day he said to me, listen, sneak out of the sorority Monday night, meet me up on Sunset Strip. We're going to Whiskey A Go-Go. And I said, don't be stupid. Whiskey A Go-Go's not open on a Monday night. It's dark. And he said, not this Monday night. They're auditioning a new singer. Okay. So Whiskey A Go-Go is this vast club. And it was kind of creepy that it was totally dark, pitch black in the back. All that was lit up was a little front stage. And there were about 20 people in there, record agents and their quote unquote old ladies. That's what we were called. Okay. So I show up, I'm wearing like my best piece of denim. I worked endlessly on this jean jacket and it was sparkling with jewels. And okay, we're standing right next to the stage, literally 1 inch from the stage. Out comes a woman with giant red hair and a bottle of Southern Comfort, takes a swig. Musicians walk out, holding company, opens her mouth, and it's a wall of sound. And it's Janis Joplin. Oh. Amazing. But even more amazing, my boyfriend did not think she was commercial. And yeah. But after the performance, I mean, we're standing right there. So we start talking and she's like, hey man, your jacket's so groovy. And I said, take it. It's yours. Take it. I recognized that she was something very different. And that's how I started dressing. Talent, music talent in denim. And I went on and did that for probably about 6-7 years until I was mid-20s. I followed the music scene up to San Francisco. Mm-hmm. And then one day, in the meantime, my parents disowned me. They absolutely thought I was the ultimate loser of all times. And now I'm in San Francisco and it's Haight-Ashbury and I'm living next door to the Jefferson Airplane Mansion with Gracie Slick. And one day I just woke up and said, okay, you're in your mid-20s. This party's not going to last forever. Do you want to get serious about your life or don't you? I had enough money to buy a ticket to New York. I knew New York was the epicenter of fashion for America. And I knew one person in New York and I got on that plane and I came to New York and I would like to say nobody wanted to hire me because the interesting thing is, and I was in two professions that were very similar, being on television for QVC, HSN, and fashion. Mm-hmm. 2 points for both of these professions. Number one, youth obsessed. And second of all, the one thing that makes it all tick is talent, but they had no trust for talent, no trust at all. So if you told someone you're talented and you have vision, it just goes in one ear and out the other. So I have 1,000 million job interviews. Not one person even wanted to give me a chance. So I just get a job. I get 2 jobs. One is honestly being a cocktail waitress at Max's Kansas City. So now I meet a whole other group of people. Andy Warhol and the Factory, and Mick Jagger's hanging out with Andy Warhol. And that's not paying the bills. I have to get a job at Bloomingdale's as a sales girl. So depressing, because the only opening they had was in the old ladies' girdle and bullet bra department. Before Madonna made bullet bras fashionable. But one day, and because I read Women's Wear Daily religiously like a Bible, I saw the fashion coordinator. I recognized her face from Women's Wear Daily, and I approached her and said, "Hi, I'm a designer. I've got a little collection. I'd like to show it to you." And she's like, "Arg." Well, she gives me an appointment like 2 months later. Mm-hmm. I go home every night and I'm sewing. I even did my own quilting. I create this little like 7-piece collection. I show it to her and she goes crazy. And Bloomingdale's did believe in talent. And they gave me an order for $100,000. And very unprofessionally, I burst out in tears. And she's like, "I don't have time for this. Why are you crying?" And I said, "Because I don't have the money to produce this. I just thought you were going to buy 2 or 3 pieces and I was going to sew everything myself." Bloomingdale's actually fronted me the money. Wow. They paid for the labor, they paid for the fabric, they paid for the shipping. It was unbelievable. And then they gave me all the windows of the store and a series every Sunday of double-page centerfold ads. So now I'm on my way. So now we're into the mid-'80s, and I come up with, it's kind of gunny sacks, prairie skirt kind of time. And I produce a blouse called the Cabal blouse. Don't ask me why I named it that, but we sell millions, literally millions of it. At one point in the late 80s, around 1988, I had every window of every department store in America for their spring ad campaigns. Around 1990, I wanted to just get bigger and bigger and bigger. Mm-hmm. Somebody came to me, a businessman in fashion, and he said, "Close your eyes. I'm going to put something in your hand, and I want you to tell me what it is." I said, "Oh, okay. It's buckskin suede." And he said, "No, it's washable silk." And I said, "Again, don't be stupid. Nobody can wash silk." And he said, "Now they can." So I introduced washable silk to America. At that point, that was such a huge hit, and it used my art skills because I actually hand painted every print we then put onto silk screens, and silk takes color and print beautifully. And I spent probably about 2 years commuting to Hong Kong and watching production and understanding it, making sure the prints were done right. But I was always getting partners who knew much more about money and funded the businesses, and I was always under their thumb. And these guys were not paying me properly, and I had had enough, and we got into a lawsuit, which was totally stupid on my part. I did not have the funds to really go month after month after month. Oh, it felt like it was endless. Anyway, one day I'm almost down to nothing. I have no money left. I can't work because they own my name and the label. Wow. And I'm thinking, really, I'm now going to have to find another profession? That can't be true. So I get a phone call and I think, oh my gosh, it's another bill collector. Do I really want to answer the phone? So I answer the phone. Hi, are you Diane Gilman? Who wants to know? Well, I'm QVC. I'm a talent scout for QVC. We'd like you to come on television. I said, this is a joke, right? I said, I don't believe you. Present some proof. Well, it was QVC. And thank God she didn't hang up on me. And so they wanted me to design a collection for them. And I said, well, I can't do it because I can't use my name. And they said, oh, that's no problem. We have plenty of people that are in lawsuits and can't use their name. We'll just call you Diane.
Wow.
And I got on TV and I thought, I don't know. I don't like the way I look in photographs. I feel really self-conscious. Do I want to do this? And it took like one show and I'm in front of the camera and I thought, what an incredible way to showcase your designs. And as the creator, be able to explain them. And so at the time I was married, my husband was sick with cancer. But he said two things to me. He said, first of all, you have the most aggravating, high-pitched Jewish voice in history. And every time you get excited or nervous, it goes up like 20 octaves. We've got to get you to a voice coach. So I went to a voice coach. And then the next thing he said is, you're 47 years old. You're never going to make it on TV without some face work. And he pushed me into getting a little plastic surgery. He was right. It looked so much better afterward. And I prepped and I lowered my voice like 10 octaves. And I perfected a voice for television and now podcasting. And then at the improbable age, and we went on selling washable soap forever. But it wasn't really anything I would ever wear. My heart was still back in the days of being a blue jean baby and a rock and roll girl. And at the age of about 58, I realized I couldn't wear anything cool anymore. I'd been a cool girl my whole life. And it was just, change of life and hormones and what do you do about it? And I was outraged and I really hated it. Said to myself, you know what? I need to go out and find a jean that fits. So I went on a campaign for like 6 months, one day, every weekend. I went to every category killer store there was. Nobody made a jean for a middle-aged body. Nobody made a jean for a woman in her late 50s. I mean, the jeans were all ridiculous. They were for little skinny 18-year-olds. So I was very frustrated. And one day I just thought to myself, hey, you're a designer. Go out and buy 3 yards of denim. Take your own measurements. I had a professional sewing room in New York at the time. Make a jean for yourself. So we did. I'm going to wear the jean for the first day. I'm really excited. I walk out on the street. I'm walking down 34th Street in Manhattan. 2 guys from Con Ed are in a manhole. One guy looks up, looks at me and says, hey, lady, you got it going, girl. And I thought, wow, unbelievable. I was just over the moon. And I'm thinking to myself, there's no jeans being sold on TV. And wouldn't this be something millions of women would feel good about? So again, I go into my industry and everybody says you're out of your mind. One, no one's going to buy a fitted bottom off TV. They're going to have to try it on. Number 2, old women don't care about how they look. Old women, 55 plus. And third of all, men don't want to see an old woman in a jean. So I'm listening and I'm not listening. And I know in my heart of hearts, I'm right. In the meantime, for the first time ever, a female CEO takes over HSN, Home Shopping Network. And she had been there at the very inception of polo jeans, working hand in hand with Ralph Lauren to develop an upscale jean collection. So I take it to her and she says, okay, we've never sold a fitted bottom on TV. We've never sold denim on TV. I'm not going to give you prime time. I can't afford the failure, but I'll give you 1 hour to prove yourself. So I get a frigid, dark February morning, Sunday morning at 5 a.m. That's what I get. And the host I get is a 3-4X, 3 to 4X. She's big girl. And she is in tears before the cameras go on saying, I hate jeans. I hate myself in jeans. I'm never going to wear a jean. I'm not going on air in your jean. I'm not even trying it on. I'm so angry. And then I'm like, what kind of presentation is this going to be if the host won't even wear the clothing? And then boom, the cameras are on. I explain my philosophy to the audience. This is for you and I. These are different measurements from anything else in the industry. If you are over 50, if you have gone through the change of life, this is your jean. I can marry you again to your youth and reconnect you to good memories, to good times. And we sold out of 5,000 jeans in 3 minutes. We had nothing left to sell for the rest of the hour. And the fact that that happened on a Sunday morning when across the country, it was, 2 a.m.? It was amazing. And then we started this whole thing of, can you produce more and quicker? And can you come on once a week? No. Can you come on twice a week? No. Can you come on 5 times a week? And we shot to #1. And then I thought to myself, well, okay, we're #1 in tele-retail in America. We're really the only people who have a valid middle-aged jean. But what about the rest of the world? This isn't about language. This isn't about nationality. This is about hormones, and we all share them. Yeah. So I went to the CEO of QVC and said, please give me a chance. Let me just start in the country where it's the same language, the UK. Okay. Instantly shot to #1. Then went to Italy, #1, shot to #1. Germany, #1. France, #1. Australia, #1. Canada, #1. I had illogically my career light bulb moment at literally 60 years old, unheard of in the fashion industry. And we went to $100 million a year at retail company, year after year.
That is amazing. Yeah. That is amazing because, throughout your whole story, I'm hearing the resilience, the no matter what. That's all right. No matter what obstacle you were faced with, you had the resilience to overcome it.
I was a girl with a mission. Yeah. And I still am. It's interesting. I did this for 30 years. In the meantime, I'm 78 now. In the meantime, at 72, 6 years ago, 2017, actually, Christmas Eve, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. And after I got through the treatment and my business stayed really solid, my I had a female community of watchers who were my audience, was about 650,000 women strong, who were very supportive to me as a female having a female disease. I came back on television. We set an all-time record. We sold 225,000 jeans in one day. And I thought to myself, it's never going to get better than this. But chemotherapy and radiation did a lot to my body. And I think that when you have a mortality-based disease, you have to ask yourself a question. Is this what you want to do for the rest of your life? And my thought was, I want to turn my attention and my intentions to a legacy of kindness and hope and support for women over 50 who maybe have not had the advantages that I have. And I want to spread a message of aging differently, aging more in a more modern way. So I had written my first book, Good Genes, and I wrote my second book, Too Young to Be Old, which is all about what's in your head. And I just wrote my third piece, which is going to be an international women's anthology breaking June 8th. And then I think I'm going to get my opportunity to write my fourth book. So now I've kind of gone into authorship, and I have my podcast, Too Young to Be Old, and I'm happy as a clam. And I realize that I'm always, no matter what age I am, going to strive for excellence, going to strive for social change, going to strive for support of my female community. And it's a fascinating journey, honestly.
Yeah. And I mean, you do it so what you look good. Your journey is so inspiring for not just those who are older, but those who are younger as well, for them not to give up.
Yes, not to give up. And the likelihood that I could shift an industry, the denim industry, and become a fashion icon at the age of 60 was like 1 in 10 billion. But just so you know, when Coco Chanel was allowed to come back to Paris after being designated a sympathizer for Hitler, and she was banned for over 20 years. At the age of 72, she designed the Chanel suit.
My favorite.
So there you are. You're never too old to dream. It's never too late. Don't give up. And you cannot you can't read the tea leaves and say it's over. It's not over till it's over. Mm-hmm. And when I decided to step away after 30 years on television, people, everybody had an opinion. Oh, you're crazy. Why don't you you're number one, stay forever? It wasn't, I don't know. There is something about going through something like cancer, and you realize that every moment of your life is a gift. How do you want to use it? Are you reaching your heart every day? Are you nourishing it? Is your soul bright and happy? And so the interesting thing was, my years on television, my female community gave me the nickname Queen of Jeans. And then recently, somebody said, no, you're not the Queen of Jeans anymore. We're going to call you the Lighthouse, because you spread so much light and joy. And that was one of the best moments of my entire career. Yeah. So I've got I've got to say that a big part of my book, Too Young to Be Old, and also the female anthology called Women Who Thrive, that will be out on Amazon, I believe, June 8th. Um, it's it's all about a journey that you believe at the beginning is the worst thing that could ever happen to you, and actually turns out repurposing your life, moving you into the right direction, and becomes the best thing that could have ever happened to you. So yeah, I am full throttle into my new atmosphere in life, which is all about doing good.
And I love, I mean, you are such a lighthouse. You really are. And you said something not too long ago where you said that, people thought you were crazy for walking away.
Oh
And
yeah.
when when you said, you know, I'm gonna put it in my own words, but am I doing what's in my heart? Am I nourishing my soul? And a lot of times we as women, we take opinions of others to kind of direct our lives versus just leaning in on what's on the inside of us, pushing us to be who we are, especially because we're always evolving. So who you were maybe 10 years ago, today you may not be that, and your purpose may have shifted. Same mission, but and I think you're such an inspiration for us
Thank you.
all to really redirect, look inside and redirect and walk our path for purpose. Oh gosh, you just don't know how much for you bless me. So I'm so sure that you have blessed the audience on today, and I'm grateful that you're even here. I mean, I can't explain um, the light, the energy that comes from you. It it's like it shifts the life of whoever is hearing you.
Oh my God, that's so incredible for you to say that. Sometimes you honestly feel like you're talking into a wind tunnel.
Mhm.
Um, People have such calcified points of view about a woman, and truly, after you go through that change of life, you're almost useless in
Mhm.
society. You're no longer automatically beautiful. You're no longer reproductive. They just sort of expect you to fade away, be quiet and fade away. And we're living longer. We are now past the age of 55, the majority of America. We are a true graying nation. And what are you going to do with the rest of your life? And as much somebody said to me yesterday, because I feel like people are always tempting you to step backwards. Someone said, "Oh, come on now, Diane, tell the truth. You'd love to be back on television again." I said, "No, I mean, I'm the one that said goodbye. I'm the one that said I want to leave, and I actually stayed 2 years longer than I had planned on. Um, and I'm now having the time of my life, cutting a whole new silhouette for myself
Mhm.
and going into a space. And my podcast was just voted in the top 10 for women over 55, where you're really trying to do something good
Mhm.
for the community. And, this is not something I can do alone, but there are other women out there who are like minded, who have their own vehicles of expression, podcast or blog or whatever. And we got to change it.
Yes.
And
Yes.
we need more respect. We need more understanding. We need more opportunities.
Mhm.
And you're looking at the girl who's there to fight for them.
Yeah.
That's me.
That is good. That's wonderful because like I said, you just don't know what you bring. And I'm listening, it's a wealth of wisdom. And society has such a cookie cutter um trail or path that it has already laid out for us. And who would dare to break that mold? And you surely dared to break it. And you
You,
are. leading
I
the.
broke every mode in life. I had to choose between family and fashion, family and career, because they were really apoplectic about me even working.
Mhm.
And I did that. I was out on my own, never took a dime from my family, had plenty of days where I thought, I'm going to starve to death. This is like scary. But I lived a life full of surprises and adventures and breakthroughs. And then when I got breast cancer, I was sort of like, what? Are you kidding me? I'm 72 years old. This is not fair. But you know what? In the long run, it taught me so much.
Mhm.
And I think that you come through some of these dark portals and you've got a choice that you're either going to see yourself and understand you cannot have light without darkness.
Mhm.
Otherwise, there's no contrast. You'll never recognize it.
Mhm.
And that was a huge learning curve for me. So I'm going to be transparent. There aren't a lot of me out there singing the song and doing the dance. And sometimes it gets really lonely and you think to yourself, am I doing the right thing? Is anybody listening? And then I come on a podcast like yours, Brianna, and I think, yeah, I'm actually toning with people. They like my song. They like the lyrics. They like the melody. So thank you so much for having me. It really means a lot to me.
Yeah, yeah, you're one, and because I'm a believer, and I'm listening to you, and I know we're getting ready to end, but I just see God's hand just all the way through your life, and it's just like, when people want to give up, I promise you, when people want to give up, those of you who are thinking about giving up, listen to everything that Diane has said, and if God would do it for her, He would most definitely do it for you. Thank you, thank you. Um, Please, everybody, look at the links. The links are in the bio. Please tell us again the name of your book, when it's coming out, and where we can find it. And
So the book right now that I have out is called Too Young to Be Old, and it's a lot about my journey and getting through breast cancer with totally different headset than what you would expect, and tips on growing older more easily, more gracefully, more with more fortitude and success. And then the book coming out in June on Amazon is going to be called Women Who Thrive. It's going to be an anthology of up to 20 female authors and writing a story about the most challenging period of your life. And I'm very, very proud of my story. Really. I it wasn't easy to go back into breast cancer and live that for about 5 months, writing this and rewriting it. But you're at some point in your life, at least once, you're going to face the biggest fear of your life. And that was for me, chemotherapy, because my husband had cancer and did not succeed. And how you go into it and how you come out of it. And don't anticipate it's going to be terrible. And, Women Who Thrive is an incredible international female organization. I was very proud when they chose me, and I'll be on the cover of the Launch magazine in June for the book. And so this was good for me because I am very comfortable in a female community bonding together with shared experiences.
mm,
So it was particularly satisfying and fascinating to me. And if I was going to give your female audience any piece of advice, I would simply say, do not be afraid of growing old. You're in charge. Aging modern means aging intentionally,
Mhm.
having plans, having goals you set, having purpose, having voice, having effect. And, and these can be the most precious, the most beautiful and meaningful moments of your life.
Well, we're going to end on that note. We thank you for joining us. Everybody, please, please, please go pick up Diane's book. Please find her podcast. Give us the name of your podcast again.
Too Young to Be Old.
Please go find her podcast on all major platforms.
YouTube, yeah.
And again, we thank you for joining us. Remember, as always, I love you. I'm always praying for you. Until next time.